must be the greatest. I told the world, I thought the God ever made. The best ever.
Welcome to the DL Boxing Podcast. I am your host, Coach D, along with co-host neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, where we talk about the sport you and I love, boxing. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This is episode 49. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, how you doing today, man?
Oh, excellent, man. Just had a busy week, man, but glad I'm here on the podcast, man.
Yeah, me too, man. Were you able to see the solar eclipse, man? I know today was a big event where we had the very rare event of a solar eclipse, man.
You know what? I tried to look out of a welder's mask, but I still couldn't see it, so I just left it alone, bro.
Yeah, I don't think we were in the path, but I had some buddies that were, I guess, on the path of the eclipse, and he sent pretty cool photos, which
nice.
I may or may not post here. But yeah, man, but it was a great event. But you know what? We have great fights to recap. We have bloodbaths. We have, just everything under the sun. But before we do, man, we have a very special guest.
Yes, we do.
Let me introduce her. Coming to us out of the Zoom corner, she is a world-class trainer. She is known as Coach G. Ladies and gentlemen, Gloria Alvarado.
What's up, Coach?
I like the introduction. Thank you. That was extra.
I'm glad you liked it, Coach G. Thank you so much for making the time to be with us on the show. We greatly appreciate it. I know you've recently flew to Costa Rica. How did that go, and why are you there, Coach?
Well, we just got here today. We flew out last night at midnight, and I have a couple of fights out here, but out here training the champ again. She's already back in the gym. She's training. She's hungrier. They just created a beast.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're talking about Yokasta Valle, right, Coach?
The one and only. Yeah.
The one and only, yeah. And we'll get to that fight, Coach. But before we do, for us boxing fans that don't know your story, just kind of recap your upbringing. And I know you've mentioned that the fight game is in your bloodline. Can you tell us about those experiences and how that led you to be a top boxing coach today?
Yeah, so I come from a family of four-generation female fighters in my family. The interesting, my grandma was a professional wrestler. My parents, my mom, my tias, all of them, my uncles, they all fought too. They were legendary kickboxers as well, martial artists. Before boxing was big, back in, I guess boxing's always been big, but kickboxing was huge too. And so my family come from legends and boxers as well, I grew up in gym all my life, just like Roxy, my daughter. She grew up in a gym all her life. And it's part of our blood. We got to see, amazing legends and world champions coming out our home, sit in our living room couch and spend Christmas with us. So I'm not a stranger to being around legends and world champions, and got our family history story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you've paid your dues, right, Coach G? Can you tell us a little bit about maybe the struggle that you've had to endure to get to this stage?
Well, I put in my dues, like you said, throughout the amateurs. I was in the amateurs for about 30 years. So I put in my dues. I've been all over the world. I've been in the world championships. The only thing I hadn't been was through the Olympics. And I'm hoping to go to the Olympics this 2024 with one of my athletes that I have, my cruiserweight from Mexico. So I'm looking forward for that as well. I've been world title fights down to the pros, turning all my amateurs into professional fighters from the ground up, building them. So I paid my dues. This is not lucky. This is not, I don't jump on YouTube and TikTok and watch videos and learn shit. I'm sorry, learn stuff. I mean, it's the walk, it's been a long walk. And like I tell my fighters and I tell myself, you got to be comfortable in the mud before you enjoy that sunshine. You got to be where it's wet, muddy. It's got to be cold. It's got to be hard. You just to walk through it and in order for you to enjoy the sunshine. Now I'm enjoying the sunshine. So I'm good.
That's great to hear, Coach. This definitely a lifestyle, a discipline that you must have to be in this rough sport. But you're there, Coach. You've done well. And, well, let's take it back to March 29th, where we had that big undisputed bout in Arizona between Seniesa, Estrada, and Yokasta Valle. The winner would become undisputed champion. Now that we're a couple weeks beyond the bout, what do you think of the outcome? How do you feel about the fight and how it went?
Well, I feel with 80% of the people, they've spoken. You know, I feel that, you know, I've watched that fight about 4 times on 4 different broadcasts, 4 different platforms, all over Mexico, all over Central America, Costa Rica. I watched it in Spain, Argentina, and they had Yokasta winning. You know, they had Yokasta winning, and I did too. You know, and you know, believe it was Timothy Bradley said, I haven't seen the interview, but I watched it in their broadcast, and it was just like, wow, you know, like we never had a chance, you know, but yet we give the fans that Marquez Barrera type of war between females, you know, and I know you guys enjoyed it.
Yes,
Oh, we
Beautiful
did.
women, you know, going out at it.
Yeah, Top Rank was just a tad biased, right? Un poquito.
Just a little.
Yeah. Coach, so a couple days after the fight, Stitch Duran released a statement in regards to the fighters that suffered cuts over that fight weekend, one of them being your fighter, Valle. And he kind of basically explained that, you know, inexperience played a part in, you know, the outcome of the fights. I guess he's alluding to maybe your corner could have done a better job with the cut. What's your feeling about that?
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's a different story when you're up there. We didn't expect a headbutt. We did expect a headbutt. Let me re-say that. We did expect that, but not as early. And not as early. So I've worked with Panda, Jacob. Now I've worked with him. I've known him for over 20 years. And he's a good friend of ours. However, you know, I could have, you know, brought in a cut man that's known just for cuts. Yes, I would have done that. But, you know, he's part of our team. He's been a part of our team for a while, and you know, and that's who they chose. And I'm satisfied with it. He stopped the bleeding. The cut, you know, was under control. There was times that, you know, we came back and we lost control. You know, it started bleeding in her eye again, but again, he took control very well, and he's getting a lot of backlash at it, and, you know, people criticizing. But again, easier said than done, you know. And I don't think any of these people understand when you're in the war, the battle at that moment. You got 2 minutes to get ready again for the battle ring when it's a female fighter and go at it again. And he did the best he could. And I mean, the results were we went 10 rounds. We went to war with a very dangerous and a very crafty fighter. And you know, so I understand, you know, Stitch, what he said. I completely 100% agree with him. But as far as my corner, I mean, I pretty much thought we, you know, I knew we had it under control. The bleeding would stop throughout the rounds. We get headbutted again. We get headbutted again. Then we start, you know, bleeding again. It's going to happen, you know, it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yokasta Valle absolutely fought with that cut like a warrior. I mean, it didn't seem like it phased her game plan at all, Coach. It's kind of, to me, it was kind of ridiculous that the judges gave a unanimous decision, pretty much 7 rounds to 3. I don't know what fight they saw. I know Seniesa Estrada said something to the effect that, oh, no rematch. It wasn't even close. What are your thoughts on that? And
let me ask you something. I don't mean to cut you off like a bad woman driver, but fighting with one eye, bleeding with a 9-inch gash, would you be willing to fight a rematch? When Yoka turned her dream into a nightmare, everybody booed her, you know, everybody. And it sucks, you know, because I mean, like I said, I had a history with Seniesa, and me being a woman, I got to support women's boxing, but all that trash talking she didn't live up to the hype. We did. Yeah,
absolutely. So any word on the rematch? I know, like you said, like Seniesa Estrada said, no rematch. Was there one in the contract, or was there a clause? What can you tell us about that? I mean, because really, the rematch is probably the biggest thing for both fighters.
You know, I think the ball was dropped. I'm not going to, you know, criticize anyone because I'm just the trainer, but I also manage my own fighters. I've been around the game a long time. But I just think that they didn't anticipate such a hell of a fight like this that people are demanding. People are demanding a rematch, and it's up to her to say yay or nay. But also, too, she doesn't have the last word because there's such thing called mandatories. We're going to be her mandatory. I mean, we're chess players, you know.
Yep.
We're going to get her. We're going to get to knock on the door again, and we're going to be able to give you fans that hell of a fight, that great fight that you guys just saw March 29th last week.
Well said, Coach G. And one of the things that, you know, post-fight, you know, we always talk boxing, and one of the first things that at least comes out of my mouth when I see a great women's boxing fight is, man, I wish it was a 3-minute round. Coach, what is your point of view on that? Are you for that? And can we see that change maybe sometime in the near future, hopefully?
Like everything else, it's going to come to a point where they got to change it, and I'm okay with, I respect the WBC rules. I respect that. It came from the late, Suleiman, but his son's carrying the torch for him. And I respect that, because he respects his father's wishes, his father, the way he had his organization, but give us 12, 10-minute, 2-minute rounds at least.
Yeah.
At least give us 12 2-minute rounds. It's going to be a different story. I know everyone saw that we had it with one eye. Can you imagine if we had both eyes? And can you imagine if she had her trainer in front of her, looking at her in the eye and no fear? I'm not the one getting hit, so I'm going to send her to war, But Yokasta is a sicaria, and that's it. She's a hit one, I could tell her to take 10 punches just to get in there and give her 20 solid ones. She will. And she will, So just give us at least 12 2-minute rounds. Give us that at least.
Yeah, I agree, Coach, 100%.
Hey, Coach, you're just on this amazing journey right now. What is it like to experience these moments with your daughter, Roxy? Because I know you just brought her up, and she's a huge phenom right now. I'm just excited to see what she's going to do. But how is it like to share these moments with your daughter right now?
She's got to wait in line. She got to earn her spot. Mm-hmm. I don't spoil anybody, and she's coming up, and everyone knows who Roxy is. She worked very hard throughout the amateurs, and I had her on the front line, but she kind of fell off a little, being adulting, and found out that it was rough and it's hard, and now she's coming back. She's back in the gym. I love my daughter, and I love that she's an amazing athlete. I mean, I would fight her with Sky Bink next week, and fight for that world title she just won. Calling out the queen. Well, guess what? You got Right Hook Roxy calling you out now. And people may think, oh, well, she needs more fights to fight her. Like, no, I could fight her yesterday, and we definitely beat her. But I know what I have, and Roxy just got to go through like I said, through the mud first, be comfortable there, and then show me what you got, and we'll show you the sunshine.
Oh, wow. Great answer, Coach. Another question I had was, I know Roxy was in the Team Combat League along with Alan Garcia. How was that experience for you to kind of I don't know if you had to step aside and hand it off to Ricky Funes, but how was that experience for you and the fighters?
You want to put that on mute so I can go off? Con esas palabras te digo todo. Con eso te digo todo.
Also, too, can you give us some insight on your current stable right now? What trainers are you, or what fighters are you training currently?
Well, right now I'm going to be fighting Jose Alvarado El Karma. He's 13-1. He fights this Saturday. I have Naomi Valle, which is Yokasta Valle's younger sister. She's 19 years old. She's the 10-0 with 8 knockouts, looking to be 11-0 on Saturday. And then I have Kid Kansas. He's 11-0? Yeah, 11-0. 9 knockouts, undefeated. I have also to Carlos Sayen Rodriguez. He's going to the last qualifiers for the Olympics. He's from Guadalajara. He's 5-0 as a pro currently. 5-0 as a pro, 5 knockouts as well. We got his last run for the Olympics. I also have Yokasta Valle, who was a 5-time world champion. And just by, I'm not going to say it, but yeah, should have been the Undisputed this week as of now, but she'll be back. Then I also have my daughter, Iana Roxani Verduzco, Right Hook Roxy. She's 1-0 as a pro. She's going to come out. I think she's fighting in June. The girl she fought, it was a last-minute replacement, and she lost against my daughter unanimously, and she went on to win a title.
Oh, wow.
WBO, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, heavier girl, too. That's why she looked huge.
Also, Coach, I'm just a big boxing fanatic, and I think it's a special time in boxing right now. But I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on, the naysayers saying boxing is dead. Where do you think it's at right now, or where do you think it's going?
Well, first of all, I believe it has a lot to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, and anybody can, comment or whatever they think. But I think it has to do a lot with the commentators. When you feed the ears, your brain will receive everything it hears. So if you're looking at something and you see, like, I saw my boy up there, and they're already talking about he doesn't know what to do after he punches. I'm like, it's round one. This kid's been fighting since he was a kid. Are you kidding me? Like, stupid commentating. Just careless, reckless commentating. I think it affects the fighters. And I've seen commentating in other countries where they make a taxi driver look like he belongs there. And I think it all falls on the commentating, the broadcasting. I think they just need to sell the fights, get more exciting about because you have these fighters, like a lot of people. I think I'm going to go off with this question, but this is important. This opened the door for that. I think it's important that people that don't really know about boxing, doesn't come from that old school boxing where they gave wars. A guy could lose 5-6 times and comes back and gets a word and he becomes a legend. Yes. Now these days, like if Kid Kansas can't knock everybody out, say if he doesn't knock his opponent out the next fight, he sucks according to regular fans. Yeah. But they're not understanding the art of boxing. They're performers. I was at a fight, Virgil Ortiz's last fight. People were pissed off criticizing him because he knocked out the guy too fast. And I'm like, what do you guys want? You want a knockout or you want a great fight? I don't understand everybody. People talking about how Shakur Stevenson sucks, that he's trash, that this and that. I'm like, wait a minute, that kid won, I believe, a couple of world gold medals. He won a silver medal at the Olympics. He beat world champions. He beat great champions because he had 2 fights that were not to where the fans expect him because the commentators, he's not who he is. And now he's trash. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Wow. Well said, Coach G. I agree 100%. That's right on the money. Coach, here on the podcast, we've talked about social media and the pros and cons of it. And I just wanted to ask you as a trainer, have you ever had to confiscate a fighter's phone in order for them to focus on their training?
One thing about me, I'm very old school. I'm 52 years old. I come from where the legends were made out of, they didn't have cell phones, no cell phones in the gym. So my fighters, if they're slacking off because they're on their phone and it takes part of their ability to work hard for me, your bags are out the door. I don't deal with cell phones. Don't bring your phone out the gym bag until you're done, completely done. I'm talking about sit-ups, weights, and everything. So, they all know me. I started off with like 10, 15 fighters. I got 7 now. They keep coming in and they keep going. I just tell them your bags are at the door. Yeah.
Well, that says it all right there. All right, Coach, before we end this, I like to pose a fun question for you, Coach. And this one, I pose it to the trainers. I call it build your perfect fighter. But for you, I want to twist this up because I think this is a first. Coach G, I want you to build the perfect female fighter, okay? So picking a past or present female fighter, who would you choose for these 5 attributes, okay? Here we go. Who would you choose for speed?
Yokasta Valle.
All right, good answer. Power.
Amanda Serrano.
Ring IQ.
Katie Taylor.
Nice. Footwork.
Right hook Roxy.
Good. All right. That's good to hear. She has good feet. Yes. Last but not least, Coach, the chin, the ability to take the punch.
Lucia Riker.
Okay. Old school there. Nice. Love it, Coach. That's
for the new school people who don't know boxing, Yokasta Valle. I would say Seniesa Estrada because she got hit.
Yeah, she took quite a bit of those. Nice. Thank you, Coach, so much.
Yeah, ask me about the guys. I'll put a perfect guy for you.
Okay, all right, let's do it. We get extra here. All right, thank you, Coach G. Build your perfect male fighter. Here we go. Speed.
Maldrick Taylor.
Ooh, he was blind. His speed was great. Power.
It's in between Barrera and Chavez.
Ooh, nice. Ring IQ.
Floyd Mayweather.
Can't deny that one. Footwork.
Oh, that one's easy. Maldrick Taylor.
Yeah, he had it all. Absolutely. And the last one, Coach G, chin.
Woo. There's a couple of them, but I'm gonna say Salvador Sanchez.
Oh, old school. Yeah.
And there's Maidana.
Maidana.
Maidana. Nice,
Both of them
nice.
took great shots. Yep, great. Thank you so much for doing a female and male. That's awesome, Coach G.
Nice, Coach. Hey, Coach. There's a fight that's been on my mind, and me and this guy, talk about it nonstop. But that's the Haney Garcia fight, and I know you have ties to the family, and I know Roxy's friends with Ryan, and I want to say you even trained Sean Garcia. But just a little insight on that fight. What are some of your thoughts on that fight? Can Ryan pull it off?
Well, Ryan fought him. I'd say like this. It's like the Marquez Pacquiao. They fought each other several times. However, it's in the pros. It's a little different, but they're comfortable with each other in the ring. Yeah. And I would say, when you're comfortable with somebody, you know them, the energy that you're going to burn is not as much as facing your opponent for the first time. So, I mean, Ryan Garcia can pull it off, not can pull it off. It's boxing, he's got the shot of knocking people out. He's been knocking out his sparring partners. Sometimes what you see on social media is a lie. I mean, he is good. There's no doubt. There's no secret about it. He's going through a lot of stuff right now. And I've seen him before he fought Luke Campbell, and he was going through a lot of stuff. And I seen, what happened to him, but he got back up and he knocked the guy out like he should. The power is there. The power. He believes in his power. He believes in his speed, his reflex. However, Devin Haney is at a whole new level. It's just at boxing. Yeah, he's just believing in himself. But does he have the power? Yes, he dropped
Progress.
It's so hard to say his name.
I know.
What's his name?
Progress. Regis Progress.
Progress.
Yeah. I think.
But I don't think the power is there. The power, if it wasn't there, 130, 135, 140, I don't see that being a big problem for Ryan Garcia. But the outboxing, I think he can outbox, and I think he could put it together, and unless he's working a lot of leverage and balance, and I think he did it. His team did a great job with him and putting that power and sitting on his shots and his punches. But is he comfortable there? It doesn't look comfortable to me yet.
Okay.
All right.
Great answer.
We will see.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach, for that. Last question. Any last words for all the boxing fans around the world, Coach?
Yeah, if you're going to be a fan, be a fan. Be a fan to a writer. Be a ride or die fan. Like you are with the Raiders, like you are with the Rams. They lose a game, they come back, win Super Bowls. And just give these fighters a chance. Stop being biased. Stop being so criticizing them. And it's more like sticking up for the fighters. But you know how hard they work just to entertain you, to bring you all together in a backyard barbecue with your friends and family. Not so you can put them down, not so you can ridicule them, just so you can enjoy it, and bring boxing back. We have the ability to bring that boxing back. And it all starts from us too, supporting our fighters and really believing in them, and not just because they didn't throw as many jabs or they only use the jab throughout the fight. It doesn't make the fighter suck. It just, the fighter had to do what he had to do, because if it were that easy, everybody would be in it. Just like it's easy to pick up an Instagram podcast or Instagram page and just ridicule and assassinate these fighters' names. But you know what? Actually, you're being a fool. You're being misled. Boxing is an art. It's a school where these fighters have discipline. They have routines, and they just want your support. They do this all for you. Of course, the money, but most of them have been fighting since they were little kids. So I believe they deserve the support and the respect and the support that us as fans need to give these young fighters. Give them a chance. Give them the opportunity.
Well said, Coach G. 100%. You clearly know your stuff. Fans, listen to Coach G. One of a kind. With that said, Coach G, thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach.
We hope to chat with you again sometime in the near future.
Anytime.
All right.
Take care.
Adios.
Bye.
Buenas noches.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, it's time to recap the fights. And boy, Neighborhood Hero Ryan, really, we have some great fights to recap. Let's start off with that ESPN card out of Arizona, which featured the undisputed bout between Seniesa Estrada and Yokasta Valle. Awesome fight.
Great fight.
Went the distance, and all three judges had it unanimous, 7-3 for Estrada. I don't know. What do you think, man? What do you think about the decision?
That 7-2 to 7-3 was way off, man.
Way off.
You know, and honestly, I had it a draw, maybe just even like a slight edge to maybe Estrada, just because I felt like she was more busy. But definitely Yokasta landed the bigger shots, the more telling blows. Man, it was just a dogfight, dude. And I was telling you, dude, I think this one might steal the show. And it was pretty close, dude. Yeah. But great action, dude. Nonstop action, dude. Both girls went after it, dude. Both girls gave us a show. And I definitely want to see a rematch, bro, because it was that good.
Yeah,
man.
definitely rematch. And it was, like you said, great fight. Great fight. Yokasta suffers a cut in the first round due to the headbutt. But oddly enough, when the fight started, bro, Seniesa was doing this weird thing with her arm. Like, is she super bad or is she super wide now? Because her punches were coming wide, you know what I'm saying? And Yokasta, to me, looked much improved. Her shots were coming right down the center, and which she was getting to Estrada. And like I said, I don't agree with that unanimous decision.
Not at all.
I remember watching the fight with my brother, sound guy Rob, and I turned to him and say, I feel, for me personally, I thought it was a draw or maybe even Valle, you know, or either way, you know what I'm saying? When fights are that close, you know, they can go either way. But 7 rounds to 3, Estrada, I did not see that. Like I said, I think Yokasta, like you mentioned as well, had the flashier shots, right? The more solid, the more shots that landed, you know, harder, I guess you could say. But there were times where Estrada and her movement kind of made Yokasta miss and give her some trouble. That taunting, man. What do you think about that taunting? Like a matador.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a big fan of that stuff, dude. And but one thing that I did notice, dude, which was big in my eyes, was Seniesa Estrada went in there with the crowd, but she didn't leave with it. You know what I mean? And Yokasta left with that crowd, dude. Yeah. And that plays a huge, you know, thing in my head is like, who really won that fight now? You know what I mean? Like that many people are cheering for her and giving her roses. You know what I mean? So she actually deserves a rematch, dude. And if you don't give it to her, it's bad for the sport, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And like how when we previewed this fight, we both said this would be each other's toughest test. Yeah. And it sure turned out to be that way. Never hear on reels. And how Coach G just told us, well, if you don't want to give us the rematch, then we're going to become her mandatory, right? Yeah. And corner her in that way. Unfortunately, it looks like that's probably the path that they will have to take. But great fight, man. Like I mentioned in our interview, I wish that fight was 3 minutes, bro. What do you think, man?
Oh, dude, of course, because they were just getting started. Like, man. I mean, in any girl fight, you always notice that, dude. They start heating up towards like the middle of the round, towards the later of the round, and then it just goes on to the next round. And
exactly, man.
Repeats itself. Yeah. So, man, 3 rounds, who knows, man? It just... Man, it would have been badass if it was, especially for Undisputed, man. You got to go with 3-minute rounds, dude.
Yeah, 3 minutes. And I was thinking about it. It's like, say, for instance, in the men's fight where one fighter hurts another fighter and he has him on the cusp of finishing him. And for some reason, the ref stops the bout because his tape's coming loose, right? And then they take like a minute in the corner getting all that. And by then, all the work that the fighter A had done is, you know,
all
it's
that
just negated. Yeah, that's what I feel is happening in each round of these women's fight, right?
Possibly,
right? 2 minutes being the round ends, and then it's like, it doesn't help with the development of the fight, with the strategy that they could implement. So I hope soon that the 3-minute rounds for women is implemented in the sport of boxing, because it is boxing. Yeah. It is boxing. I hate to say it, like I always tell you guys, oh yeah, that was a good exhibition, right? You know, it was a fight, but exhibition with 2-minute rounds. But nonetheless, they are both warriors. No disrespect to none of them. They gave us a great fight, and we hope to see it again, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so congratulations, Seniesa Estrada, on your unanimous decision victory. All right, man, let's turn our attention to that main event that featured former champion Oscar Valdez. He won a TKO in the 7th round over Liam Wilson. Man, Liam Wilson, again, proved to be tough. Valdez, with this victory, becomes a WBO interim junior lightweight title holder. How'd you see that fight, man? How did it get you off your seat?
Yeah, dude, very, very good fight. And this one didn't disappoint. And in my eyes, dude, you can never count Oscar Valdez out, dude, because Liam Wilson had his foot on the pedal, dude, and he was outboxing Valdez, dude, and he was hitting him at every angle, dude. He had Oscar Valdez confused on the ropes. He did. And just hitting him with some shots too. But the thing is Oscar Valdez dug deep, dude. He started fighting that Mexican style, and Liam Wilson got baited into that.
He baited him into
and that's
that,
just
man.
not his fight. And I felt Oscar Valdez did what he had to do, and Liam Wilson just threw the game plan out as soon as he felt Oscar Valdez's power and his relentlessness.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But a great fight, dude. I'm glad Oscar won because I'm a huge Oscar Valdez fan.
He needed it, man.
But again, Liam Wilson, I feel like again built up his stock a little bit more in the States.
Yeah.
And he's definitely a contender, dude. And I hope he comes back even stronger, man, because he's a great fighter, entertaining fighter, man.
Absolutely, I agree, man. And what's cool is Valdez, was very sportsmanlike, gracious in victory, and Wilson in defeat, where he was telling him, "Hey, you almost got me, man. You were close to getting me." And I think he even invited him out to
train with
him and stuff. So that was really cool of Valdez. He got him out of there in the 7th round, hurt him with the left hook, put punches and bunches together, and then the referee decided to stop the halt the bout there. I never liked those kind of stoppages. It's not like when Pitbull had a Romero ragdolling around the ring. This was, I don't know, maybe if you throw 20 punches in a row for top rank, the referee will go in there and halt the bout. That's just my opinion, man. But nonetheless, Valdez dug deep and stopped Wilson. What else can you say, man?
Yeah. Not much else, man.
Not much else, man. So congratulations, Oscar Valdez, on your victory. All right, brother, let's turn our attention to the PBC on Amazon Prime, and let's go with the main event, which saw Isaac Pitbull Cruz become the WBA Junior Welterweight Champion, improving to 26-2, 1 draw, 18 KOs, as he stops Rolly Romero in the 8th round. Romero drops to 15-2 with 13 knockouts. What can I say? A one-sided beatdown.
Yeah.
Cruz from the opening round just had Romero on rubber band legs, right?
Yeah.
Bambi legs. What do you think, man?
You know what, dude? I remember talking about this one, and we were saying how Rolly possesses that power, but when you can't land that shot, man, and you don't have a plan B,
right?
God, it's going to be a long night, and that's what it was for Rolly, man. He tried landing those shots, and he came close a couple times, but he really didn't have no answer. He didn't have a plan B. It was just to land that shot, and even, maybe landing that shot a couple of times, Pitbull took it like it was nothing, man. It just kept moving forward. And man, it was just a long night and kind of a sad night for Rolly, bro.
Yeah, he took a lot, man. Never went down, right?
Yeah.
His athleticism, his conditioning kept him up somehow.
Yeah.
Like, that dude was doing like just defying physics in that ring, brother.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But Isaac Cruz was so
compact,
focused for this fight, man. Like, because the only talking Romero did was before the fight, right? In the press conferences, because in the ring he had no answer for Pitbull's attack. What's next for Pitbull, man? He is now the WBA champ. You have fights maybe with other title holders, Subriel Matias, another power hitter.
Yeah.
Ismael Barroso, who's another power hitter. Maybe even a Regis Prograis. Who am I forgetting here?
Oh, man, dude. All those guys.
All those guys,
I
right?
mean,
Yeah.
anybody in that area, I mean, he could go
Teofimo.
up, he can go down. I mean, dude, I don't know, but there's like a whole list of fighters, man. I could mention a ton of them, but I just know as long as he's hungry and stays disciplined, man, and that money and that fame doesn't get to him, dude, he's going to be around for a while.
It's gonna be exciting,
Yeah,
right?
it is,
It's gonna
man.
be exciting. Yeah. Congratulations, Isaac Pitbull Cruz, on your victory. All right, man, let's turn our attention to the main event. Man, what can I say? We weren't expecting this, right?
Yeah.
This turned out to be a throwback fight, bloodbath of a fight.
Yeah.
Sebastian Fundora wins a split decision over 12 rounds over the former champion Tszyu, handing him his first loss. With this win, Fundora becomes the WBC and WBO junior middleweight champ. So he becomes unified champion, man. Big win for Fundora. What a fight, neighborhood hero, Ryan Rios.
Yeah, excellent fight, man. And I had Tszyu just kind of dominating, the first 2 rounds, and then he suffers that cut.
Dude, what kind of luck, man, to run into
dude, I know.
Fundora's elbow. Although Fundora is, what, 6'8"?
6'6". Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that didn't help at all. And you know what? And I know people talk about this fight and they go back and forth. They should have stopped it. But then we all would have been pissed off if they would have stopped it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then we would have been like, what if? Well, now we know.
Now we
know
know.
what I mean? But the thing is, I feel like Tszyu, we know what we're getting now with him. You know what I mean? And I felt like this fight built up his stock even more.
Yeah.
It built up more of a fan base. We know what we're getting. I feel like if there's a rematch, I definitely feel like Tszyu's going to bring it. And I think he gets Sebastian out of there, dude. But it's just a great fight, dude. Just kind of disappointing outcome, man. And I'm a huge Tszyu fan. And I remember calling you and telling you, like, man, I'm bummed, dude. But again, you know what? I mean, he didn't get hurt at all. I don't think, other than that gash,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you said it well. Like, thank God they didn't stop it because, like you said, now we know what these two fighters are made out of. Yeah. And boy, are they made out of a warrior cloth. Man. You know what I'm saying? The top of the top. These guys are not going to back down for anything. Man, like you said, in the second round, Tszyu ends up colliding with Fundora's elbow, opening a big old gash on top of his head, brother. Man, you could just see the blood just gushing down to his face, right? And then, I don't know, a round or two later, Tszyu breaks Fundora's nose, so you have his nose bleeding. Yeah,
his mouth wide open.
Yeah, his mouth wide open. So you got both fighters gushing out blood, man. Yeah. And to me, it was like, man, you got Count Dracula, Fundora versus Red Skull, Tszyu. You know what I'm saying? So, man, both their faces were just bloody, and they just battled it out for 12 rounds. Yeah. Like I was telling you earlier, I didn't really see dominance in Fundora. That to say, Fundora is a better fighter than Tszyu. I didn't see that, but yeah, he kept them at bay.
Yeah, he did what he had to do, man.
Yeah, he did what he had to do, and well, he got the victory. Both were gracious after the fight, respected one another, and I'm glad there's a rematch clause in here, Ryan Reels, because we need to see this again, and hopefully, knock on wood, nobody gets cut or anything, and we get another nice fight. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly, man. And I think the next fight, it's going to play out how the first one should have. So I think there'll be a clear winner in this one, man. And hopefully it's in Australia, man, because I think even Tszyu, earned that right to have it over there, dude.
Right. Yeah. Great fight. I mean, so a great fight just spawns another rematch of a great fight, right? Something that we look forward to. And did they prove it to us that they deserve, our viewership, man, because blood and guts in that fight was just off the wall, man. Absolutely. But congratulations, Sebastian Fundora, on your victory. All right, brother. It's time to turn our attention and preview the fight between WBC Junior Welterweight Champion Devin Haney, undefeated, 31-0 with 15 knockouts. He takes on Ryan Garcia, 24-1, 20 knockouts. This will be April 20th on DAZN, pay-per-view at the Barclays Center. And, man, this is something I'm looking forward to. Yeah. What are your initial thoughts of this fight?
It's funny because who I want to win and who I think's going to win are two different stories.
It always is, right? Yeah, right.
So I'm going for Ryan Garcia on this one, man. I'm still a big fan, and I'm also a fan of Haney.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Haney has the better boxing ability, man. He has the footwork, dude. He has that grit, that focus, everything you want to see in a fighter. He's undisputed, man. He was undisputed, and now he has a title at 140. Exactly. So, he's definitely the A side. But again, like we're talking intangibles, man, and you can't ever take away that punch, that power, and that speed that Ryan possesses. You know what I mean? So Ryan always has that chance, man. And I think he has a good chin also. He's proved it, dude. He gets hit, he gets rocked, he gets up. But I kind of think he's going to walk through a lot of Haney's shots, man. And he's not going to respect that power. And once Haney hits him and he hits him repeatedly and Ryan's walking through that and Ryan keeps coming forward, that might break Haney a little bit. And if Ryan can land something, man, it could be a short night or he could, hurt him. And I that's what I'm hoping for, man.
Right. If Haney can't get Ryan's respect, you're right. Yeah. It could be a long night for Haney. But let's ask this, neighborhood hero Ryan Reels, the perception, as we view them, on social media and, on the zone face-offs and stuff like that, perception is that Haney is the more professional fighter, the more disciplined fighter in training. How do you think that will affect, people's view on this fight? Do they think maybe it's a mismatch? What do you think?
Of course, man. And I think everything's leaning towards Haney, but I think Ryan fuels on that hate. Ryan is accustomed to that. You know what I mean? And by Ryan doing all these antics, that's probably where he feels comfortable.
Maybe showmanship, right?
You know what I mean? And we had brought it up earlier, before we aired, is the social media, how it's going to sell some fights too. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say what Ryan's doing, what his agenda is. But I don't really see it hurting Ryan, man. And he might be going through some stuff, but I still feel he's still locked in, man. But maybe not as much as Haney. But all it takes is that one shot. That's what I'm counting on, you know?
Yeah, and that's the perception, right? For all who we know, Ryan might be locked in more than ever, right? Yeah, so that perception's a big key there. So with that said, maybe, like you said, social media is a big thing right now. And so if people are looking at this like, man, this guy's freaking making music. He's singing on songs.
Yeah.
He's talking about this and that. This is a mismatch. Why am I going to go buy a ticket, or why am I going to get the pay-per-view? Which is interesting, because I just read an article where they're having trouble selling the tickets to this, brother.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You know what? A good point, because a lot of people might think that they might, be losing their money on this one. Maybe if he doesn't show up, maybe they get another opponent, and
I don't blame
it's
them.
not Ryan Garcia who's, the big draw. You know what I mean? That's where I think they might be skeptical. But I think once weigh-ins are done and everything's official, I think those ticket numbers and those pay-per-views will skyrocket. But until then, we're just all kind of like, what if he doesn't show up, or who knows?
I'm sure the promoters are hoping so, because we got 12 days or so.
Yeah, it's getting close, man.
It's getting close. Let's talk about the resumes. Maybe another thing that people are seeing. Without a doubt, we know Devin Haney has the better resume. He's fought the better established fighters and won. Obviously, he's undefeated. What do you think about that experience? Obviously, that's something that's in Devin Haney's checklist, right? As pros, right? How do you think that helps him out here?
You know what? I want to say the biggest resume that they have for both of them is that they fought each other, dude. What is it, 6 times?
Oh yeah, in the amateurs.
And so they're very comfortable with each other, like Coach G said.
That's right.
And once you're very comfortable, you kind of know the other person, and a lot of those nerves go away, and you're able to bring out the real self, your real self, and maybe perform a little bit better. But again, dude, it's hard to say, man. It's styles make fights, and maybe Haney didn't expect Ryan's power. Maybe he's taking him too lightly. But
could be.
But who knows, man? I think Devin Haney definitely has a better resume, the champion pedigree.
I agree. Yeah,
Ryan has never even fought for a title, right?
Yeah. With Tank, it wasn't. There was no title on the line. You're right, man. So we have Haney's impeccable jab, feet. His movement is really great. Versus, like you said, Ryan's speed and that power in that left hook. Who wins, brother? I know you now. After saying all this, you still feel. Obviously, you still feel.
I feel like no. I feel like Haney should beat him, dude. Okay. But I'm not counting Ryan out, and I want Ryan to win. But Haney should beat him, man, and probably maybe even frustrate him, and maybe even drop Ryan too.
Okay.
But I'm hoping Ryan has that one shot, dude, and I hope he wins. But I see Devin Haney beating him.
I feel you, man, because one thing, the heart, like you said, the heart saying, man, I hope Ryan can land something heavy to put Haney in trouble, adversity, right?
Yeah.
To have a chance to win. But I got to go with my brain on this one, saying that Devin Haney being the better experienced fighter, maybe even the better disciplined fighter, and he's shown it in the ring. And I expect him to perhaps one-sidedly beat down on Ryan, man. I hope my heart is correct, because that means a better fight, a more exciting, dramatic fight for us boxing fans. But, man, you can't deny Haney's focus and work that he's already done. Yeah. Right? So, but nonetheless, we're going to tune in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to tune in and hope for the very best. So I think we can both agree Haney should win. Hoping Ryan makes it interesting, right?
Exactly, man.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Do not miss Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, April 20th. All right, brother. Well, that concludes our podcast. Of course, we want to shout out Coach G, Gloria Alvarado, for taking the time out to be with us. Great stuff. Great insight. Greatly appreciate it, Coach. Any shout outs?
Yeah, just to all our fans and followers, man. Yep. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And again, we have great content on the way and great guests on the way, guys.
Yeah, well said. As always, thank you, cameraman Liam, sound guy Rob. Thank you for your help. We greatly appreciate it. And with that, brother, we will sign off. I am Coach D, along with neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, and we're out, guys.